HB family, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, your home of pure rugby league. Centers, right? Very much the link between second row and wing, depending on the attacking play as well. Could be between the halfback, and the wing possibly. They're very linky type position in the sense that you've got to be so good with the ball in hand. Arguably, a step below your halves in terms of ball passing. You get my drift there. In saying that, before I get into it though, DJ, hit that intro. Guys, here we go. As you can tell by the intro, I was very much into this. Now, the Warriors have a few players who can play center. You got the likes of Viliami Vailea. You got the likes of Rocco Berry. You got the likes of, well, depends really, right? You've got Adam Pompey. You got the likes of Montoya. You've got the likes of possibly Ben Farr, if he's in the squad. Dylan Walker, right? Chances Cole Cooks, there's just a plethora of players there. Obviously, the point is to try and see who can actually, be that centered, be in that cemented spot. Now, for me, during the trials, right, you've seen it. You've seen the likes of Muslim as well, Braden Viliami, right? You've seen the likes of Vailea. I just think for mine, possibly Rocco Berry for me. I'm always going to have a soft spot for Rocco Berry, so I'm prepared for the tomatoes to be thrown at me. But really, I think for mine, Rocco Berry would be someone I look to cultivate, to mold into that position. Now, granted, I understand you've got the likes of, as I mentioned before, Vailea. You've got the likes of Dylan Walker potentially, depending on where he plays. You've got the likes of Adam Pompey. You've got the likes of Braden Viliami. I get it, but I just think for mine, Rocco Berry, somebody to look out for, in my opinion. Now, if you're not going to have him starting, because, obviously due to injuries and whatnot, I think for mine, if you're going to have two players cemented in that position, I think you're going to go with Viliami Vailea. And I think the other one you're going to go with is either Braden Viliami or Dylan Walker. Viliami obviously had a bit of a mixed bag. A triumphant debut, granted preseason against the Tigers, and then a game to probably forget or learn from. I think the latter. But you get my point. And so you've got this mixed bag here in Braden Viliami, but at the same time as well, you can still see the promises he can offer. Now, granted, I've said Viliami Vailea, young, but still, I think he's growing into that position. Does he understand the position from my observation? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that he can definitely be what we need, but at the same time, he's growing, he's learning that position. Center's a very tough position, particularly on defense, and I haven't even spoken about defense yet for the Warriors in the centers department. Now, it's of no surprise that last year we were absolutely towed up by a lot of offense that went out wide, in my opinion. Left edge, right edge, any edge, the edge. Right? It just wasn't great for us. Now, granted, the way I sort of see this is the Warriors need a duo that is not only offensively okay, but I think more leaning towards defense as opposed to offense. Some teams have the luxury of having their players be absolute beasts on both ends of the ball. Warriors, depending on the team they play, different factors that sort of contribute to this. I would even argue and say that in this case, like I touched on before, it's even better for us to actually have defensive centers. Now, if you're looking at it from a defensive standpoint, it's tough to gauge, really. It really is, because it wasn't the best defensive effort against the Storm, right? However, I digress. If I was to really pick and cement a spot, I think for me, it'll be one spot would be Vailea, right? Over at the right center, and then for left center, I think for mine, I want to have to go with Braden Viliami, perhaps. Though in saying that when Rocco Berry gets fit, I'm slotting him straight in. That's my opinion. Now, like I said, you've got other players that can fill in the gap, for sure. They can play in that position. Absolutely, but for me, that's what I'm going with. Give me thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Anyway, take it easy. See you guys next time. Go the Warriors, and just remember,